Hey everybody, how you doing? Thank you so much for tuning in again, and thank you to everybody that supported my last video or podcast update. I can't believe we've got another Friday rolling round already. So talking about the news, I've picked out a few stories that I want to talk about. So, an interesting public preview feature that has been released for Azure Traffic Manager is called Always Serve. Now with this new feature, you can disable the endpoint health checks on your Azure Traffic Manager profile and make sure that traffic is always served by a given endpoint. An interesting scenario, and one I'm sure people will be interested to use. With this also comes the option to use a third-party health check tool if you want to determine the health of an endpoint. Again, another interesting preview feature. To be able to use this preview feature, you have to go to a certain URL for the Azure portal. What I'm going to do is pop more information into the comments or the show notes section, so do check that out if you want to have a play with that, as I will definitely be doing that at some point later on today. Also, another preview feature is Azure Cold Storage. Now, as we all know, Azure Blob Storage is a great product for storing massive amounts of unstructured data. I know I have some blob storage up there that acts as archive or just a dumping ground of some of the files that I need to offload from my PC and keep somewhere. But with this new addition, you've got cold storage. So it's in addition, as I said, to hot, cool and archive. The cold tier pricing is positioned between cool and archive and has a 90-day early deletion policy. So the pricing hasn't really been released, I don't think, but it'll be in between that cool and archive tier pricing. So potentially very useful for a lot of companies. At the moment, the new tier is currently available in Canada Central, Canada East, France Central and Korea Central. So again, interesting that it's rolled out to those regions, but hopefully we'll see it rolling out to more regions very soon as well. Now we're on a roll for public preview features, and we've got automatic scaling for app service web apps. So let's talk about that. So automatic scaling for app service web apps. So this new feature adjusts the number of running instances of your application based on incoming HTTP requests, and this ensures that your web applications can handle varying levels of traffic. Interesting, given that I have spoken to a few customers who are not sure how to actually scale their web apps, so maybe this automatic scaling will actually help them. So this new feature allows you to address cold start issues as well. So there's pre-warmed instances that act as a buffer when scaling out. Again, a great feature. And that really ensures that smooth transition for performance for your end users. Now the automatic scaling is available for the Premium PV2 and Premium PV3 pricing tiers, so you have to use one of those to have this feature. But yeah, that's an interesting one, and definitely one I'll be talking to a few customers about, because again, sometimes trying to figure out how to scale your web apps can be quite challenging, especially if it's the first one you're ever launching into Azure. So moving to generally available features, we have Azure Backup Server version 4 released. Now with this version, you can now install Azure Backup Server on Windows Server 2022 with SQL Server 2022 as its database. Also, with this version, it now adds support for backup of virtual machines running on Azure Stack HCI 22H2 and VMware version 8. So with version 4 of the Azure Backup Server, we also have support for using private endpoints to send your online backups to Azure Backup Recovery Services Vault. So yeah, interesting there if you're using Azure Backup Server. Maybe it's time to do an upgrade to get some of those additional features for you. Something else I noticed was the Azure VMware Solution team announced some things. So generally available within Azure Gov, you can now use Azure VMware Solution. So if you're in the Azure Government Cloud, then that's a great thing to have a look at. And they also rolled out Azure VMware Solution to the Qatar region as well. So again, great for those customers in that region. Also in the community news this week, I saw that there has been someone who's created a workbook that shows you the savings that you could be made or have made from your reserved instance purchases or savings plan purchases. So that's quite interesting. I'll pop a link in the show notes or in the comments section, so have a look at that. Could be useful to add into your subscriptions and have another view or be able to report on different things. Do let me know if you spotted any other news. Please do hit me up in the comments section or tweet me or whatever. I'd love to hear what other news has been happening, folks. But thank you so much, and I'll hopefully see you in another one.